Welcome to this video in which we will cover how to draw an outline section in AutoCAD. Within AutoCAD then we have a number of drawings on the file already, a ground floor plan, a first floor plan and 4 elevations over here. They are not entirely finished. Some of the details for the windows and doors are omitted in line with the previous video to allow some variation for those elements. What we need to do is indicate where the section line will be on the plan, and normally you would take that through at the most difficult element of the building. So in this case we should take it through roughly where the front door and back door is, and the reason for this is not just to be difficult, but it is so that whenever you get to a later stage and you're doing working drawings, you will be able to do a detail section, and then you will be able to do details indicating how maybe a level threshold would be drawn, or in different types of buildings maybe a balcony or some other element like that. So first of all, let's create a layer, new layer, and we'll call it GA section lines, and we'll make the color magenta. Okay, and let's just make sure the layer is current before we close that window, and let's try taking that through just at the side of the door here. Make sure that's 90 degrees. Okay, and maybe just extend that slightly more there, and we can indicate the direction of the section as well. That could be done potentially using a leader from the annotate tab, but I'm just going to draw a simple arrow here. So let's draw a line 800, and let's get an angle of 45 degrees like so. Okay, maybe just let's offset that by 300 just to see exactly where that is. Okay, and we can trim the line and delete and mirror. What we should also do is put some letters on there. Let's do that first actually. So we'll take this and we'll copy it down, and let's just anchor that middle right. Let's also put it on the same layer as a section line now, and let's change that to the letter A. A, capital A. Okay, and move that over. Doesn't need to be as long as that, and we'll just move it out a little bit away from the arrow like so, and then we can mirror that up to the other side of the line. Now we also want that line to show as a different line type, so let's see what line types are available. I want the different one, so we can load that, and it is this long dash short dash line that I want to use. It's now loaded, so click OK, and we can go to the line and apply that line type like so. Scale maybe needs improved, so let's try a line type scale of 10. Okay, that should do the job, and then we need to copy that down to the other plan just so we can see clearly from both plans where that needs to be. And I know from previous that the exact distance there is 20,000, and so we have the section line on both elements of the drawing like that. Potentially we could shorten that a little bit just because it doesn't need to be that length on that drawing. So that's the section lines drawn at this stage. The next thing to do then is choose where we want to draw a section, and I'm going to put it down here. So because we already have an elevation, we can fast track a little bit of this at this stage So basically, if we pick up the outline here, which is behind the gable ends in this particular design of building, we can use those lines. Obviously, if you're starting off from scratch with a section, you might need to use some other options to draw that, but just for speed in this video, I'm going to use those lines and copy them down. Notice that there is this dashed line. It's 150 millimeters above the ground level, so just bear that in mind for later. And we're going to use this line here to bring down, and I'm just going to choose nearest at this stage, and let's use that line type just to match the properties like so. So the first thing we need to do is offset by 150. So that's the outside ground level at this point, and this is for the internal floor level. What we can do is use a line here and just slope it. I'm still on the wrong layer there actually, so let's just use walls at this stage. You can be a little bit more accurate with the particular line and layers that you use if you wish, but just for the demo, that'll do. Just pull that back in slightly maybe. Okay, and that's the internal floor level. So with the walls, that's going to be 300. Maybe just explain what this is. This is the element that comes out at the front of the building here beyond the main wall. So this is the wall line here that we need to use, and we'll use 300 over here like so, and then that is the height of that extra piece of roof, so it'll need to come in something like that, and that means then we can delete these lines. And in terms of what's happening over here, this is 200 millimeter overhang for the soffit, and the fascia is 200 high as well, and then the angle of the roof is 30 degrees in this case. So we can trim here these lines, and let's offset the roof by a distance of 250 like so. And then in this case we are cutting through basically a bit like a verge detail in some cases, so let's just offset like that and 250 again this way. Okay, and if you have the fillet tool available and you just check that the radius is set to 0, you can use it like so just to trim some of these lines quickly. There are other ways of trimming as well. And we can trim fillet, from that point to there, and again, and that one. And then we will offset down below ground level. Well, let's just put a slope on the other side because it is, in this particular case, a door on the other side as well. So let's just take that, move it from that point over. Okay, in this case it's a wee bit beyond the line, so let's just pull it back a little. And we can trim using the 2 inside walls and trim off outside, and then we can delete that line and offset by, let's say, 350 just to indicate where the floor finish is, and let's offset another 500 just to show where the walls may go down to. And this stage then we need to put in a foundation. That just looked a little bit off there, but I think it's accurate enough. So we can put a foundation down in here, so let's just stretch those lines down to that point. And what we'll do is offset maybe by 225 either side of the wall, and we'll make the foundations maybe 450 deep, and then we can use the fillet tool just to indicate that. At this stage it is just indicative for the foundations. At detail stage you would be a bit more accurate just to make sure you've got everything the way it should be. So we just copy that over to the perpendicular like so, and then extend those lines down. So that's the overall section through the building. We need the first floor in there as well. So again, I know already that that distance is 2775. Now that's from floor to floor. So in this case, the floor is maybe going to be roughly 300 deep. So again, we can trim that out just to indicate roughly where that's going to be. And what you can also do is add in some internal elements to show roughly where the stairs are going to be. So to get that looking accurate, what you might want to do is move the section up there, and you can rotate the plan around like so, and rotate 90 degrees the other way, and then line that up with the section. So let's just get the section line there and bring it down. Move it over, and then what you could do is show some of the internal elements here. So for example, you might want to put in the door, let's just pick that line up and put it over to the other side. Copy the different elements. Again, you maybe want to show where the stairs are, in this case the wall there, and so on. Obviously there's utility room in there too, so these elements can all be shown down here. Show exactly where the stairs are and fill in that detail just the same way that you would do with an elevation. So with the outline section, I've added in a bit more detail here. So for example, I have some of the internal elevation shown on the ground floor. This is a doorway, this is another doorway, the stairs, and the units in the kitchen. So just to show roughly where that is, that's the first door, the second door is the one that's further down the hallway, the stairs, and because they are a winder set of stairs like that, you will see the edge of the tread here. And in the utility room, the section line actually cuts through that unit, and you'll see the elevation of that one in the background. However, with an outline section, you may not always want to show that amount of detail. Now what I've also done is added in the door at the front and back of the dwelling, and also the roof lights. And to get the exact location of those, what you would need to do is refer to the elevations and also the plan. Ultimately, the section is sometimes the best way to work out exactly where those ought to be though. So if you're working off specific heights, etc., especially if it's a lower window, maybe for a fire escape purpose or something like that, you will be looking at the building regulations and putting that in an exact position. What I've also worked out is that those lines do not need to be there. So basically that line, those two lines carry up over by 200 maybe it is actually. So extend those lines up to I can get the right one, like that. Okay, and then we can trim the appropriate pieces there. And yes, in reality there would be a parapet on the top of that for the outline section. We can probably get away with a bit less detail just at this point. And offset by, is it 3700, I think, and that is the position of the window on the gable. So let's just look at the elevation, albeit that it's rotated. So if you look at the front elevation, there is this window here, and I don't remember the diameter of it, so let's just check that. It is diameter 500, okay. So offset by 500, and we can trim the lines out like so, and just go to that layer and put in where the window needs to be, and let's just offset that by 100 like so. And you can obviously add in the frame depth there if you really want to add in a bit more accuracy. That's probably a bit more than you necessarily need detail wise, but there we have the gable window. And you can add in a little bit of the elevation detail, maybe where the position of internal walls are, etc., for the first floor, but that's roughly what we would need for the outline section. One thing I forgot to mention there maybe is that we've cut through another wall, and the foundation in this case I've made it a little bit smaller just because it's not a cavity wall. So that's the end of the section, the outline section, and hopefully that'll give you some good principles for drawing those in future. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to follow my channel, and if you like these videos, like or share. Thank you.